All right. I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes to see if there is anyone that can join in before we start. Okay, so I am just going to share my screen at the moment. And here is my presentation on Kahoots. All right, so today I will be doing my presentation on an online game review tool called Kahoots. It's a very useful tool and it makes learning very fun and very interactive. So let's start by talking about what is Kahoots. So Kahoot is, like I said, a game-based learning platform that uses a variety of games and quizzes in order to present information with very engaging delivery for students. So the best thing about Kahoots is that they can participate individually or also in teams. So if there are students who feel pressure, who don't like to participate in a group setting, this is a great tool for them. So Kahoots does have many pros and cons. So we're going to run through some of them today. So obviously we'll go through the pros first. So the best thing about Kahoot is that there are many different quiz types. We're going to go through all of them shortly. The quizzes can be saved for future use. So if you want to create a few different quizzes for different chapters, you can save all of those and reuse them, and it can be edited as you move through your courses and classes. They are very entertaining and very, very fun. It promotes a very fun learning environment because it just takes the pressure off of a traditional quiz or assessment. It's very, very easy to use. It's very intuitive. It has very easy to follow instructions for instructors to create quizzes. And it's very colorful. The text is very easy to read. On the mobile version, when you are playing from your phone, your whole screen becomes your playing board, so it's very easy for you to use. And it also has an existing information library. So if you get stuck on different quizzes, or if you need to find more answers, some ideas, prompts, it has a great tool you can use right there. And to talk about some cons of Kahoot is that it is not a free resource. So you do have to pay for extra features. Unfortunately, a lot of the fun extra quizzes are a paid subscription plan. We can go over that a little bit later as well. Another con with Kahoot is that it does reward speed and accuracy more importantly than just accuracy. So if your student needs a little bit of extra time or needs a little bit of accommodation, they don't think well under pressure, then this will not be a good tool for them because you get more points when you answer faster. So that is one of the negatives of Kahoot. Another one that has happened before is it relies on internet. It's an online game. So if all your students are connected to Wi-Fi and somebody has an older phone or an older device and it's lagging a little bit, they're going to not score a lot of points because they're going to be behind, even if they're right. So that's another negative of this game. Another thing is that this game assumes that all students have access to devices, smartphones, or tablets. And the reality is that if you are a student who does not have a smartphone or a tablet, then you cannot participate, which is not great. Thankfully, here at BCC, we have iPads that are available for our students to use for situations like this, but it does bring that to attention. And the last thing that is a negative of Kahoot is that there is a 10-player limit on the free version. So that means that if you have more than 10 students, you cannot play individually. You do have to put your students into groups. And here I'm going to just share really quickly the different types of quizzes and games and features in Kahoot. So we're going to make one together later, but for now, I'm just going to quickly run through. The two free versions that you get are this one right here, which is the quiz, and it's just an A, B, C, D. They get to pick, and whoever picks the correct answer first wins. And true and false is also part of the free package. So this one and the quiz version are the only two ones you get. Now, if you do decide to pay into a subscription, then the other 6 here are available to you for use. So the type answer is basically also very straightforward. They have to type the answers in their phone and the correct answer wins. The puzzle basically will tell students to put each one in the correct order so they can drag and drop. Let's say you have a question asking for the process for something, so students could rank them. The poll right here is really great for asking your students how they feel about certain things, but also a show of hands would also work, so you're not missing out too much there. The word cloud, so basically it's the same thing as a poll, but they get to submit their own answers instead of the answers you've provided to your students. The open-ended bubble here is that you can post a question and your students can answer how they see fit. And slide here is basically, it's just an information presentation. It's like making a PowerPoint or a keynote presentation. It's just an interactive platform and it's in one place. So if you have question banks and things like that, all your information stored up here, it is also another tool that you can use. So now I want to bring you guys to my Kahoot page and we're going to create one together. So as you can see here, this is my Kahoot page. So here is where one of the pros I talked about with Kahoot is that, oh, sorry, it looks like it's not, my screen sharing is not, it looks like it's paused. So give me one moment. I will just share again. Okay, so here we go. Sorry about that. We will continue on. Here we go. So this is my Kahoot page. So this is the information library. So when you log in, you will be able to see all of these topics right here. So let's say you are teaching grade 12 and you could select math, you could select English, you could select anything you want, world history, music, biology. You could even use a Kahoot to test your students on their 2000s hits music opinions and knowledge. But for purposes today, we are going to create our own. So right here, you can have a blank and you can also use a pre-made Kahoot. So obviously, if you use the template, it will do some of the work for you, but we are going to go from scratch today. So here is how it looks from the beginning. So what I like to do usually is I like to find an image. So because I teach in the hair program, I am going to look for a hair image. So usually I will go, so the Getty images are premium images. So you get these images if you pay for an extra plan. Otherwise, you can use Unsplash right here, which is the free version of all the images. So I simply search hair. You get all these amazing images, and these are all free stock images. So you could start with, let's say, this image right here. You can type in your question, and you could write anything like what tool is used to curl hair. And then here are your 4 answers. So you could do I'm just gonna write some basic answers here. And you can do 2, you can do 3 or 4. And then the 4th answer, and you can even add more. 4 is a good starting point. So here are your 4 answers, and after you've created, you want to select the one that is the correct answer. So what you can do here, these are how you can customize your quiz. So this is where you have your 2 free options, and everything here with this little star in the corner will be for a paid subscription plan only. You can set a time limit on your question, standard amount of points, double points, and to take away the point issue where it only rewards speed, you can also make this a no point question. So it takes away that pressure of needing to get it right very, very fast, which does level out the playing field a little bit. So we can go right there. And then answers. So here, again, that's a paid feature, but we can only select one single answer. And everything else down, the images down here, all paid. So what we can do now is you can add the next question. So when you click add question, your page will look like this. So you can go into a question bank and you can look up a math question. And then there are a lot of questions right here. And then what you could do is you can make your own as well. So do it true or false. Next, we can try that. So again, because I am creating a quiz for hair, okay, you can type right here, type your question and select the true or false. And then you can preview your quiz right here, and you can see that it previews for you like so. And then that way you can kind of see, you can play your game first a few times to make sure that it looks good. So here I can show you one that I've created recently. So here are all of the questions. You can make 10, you can make as many as you need. And it is a very, very helpful tool. So one of the things that I personally love about Kahoot is that it's a very, very helpful tool as an educator, because I'm just gonna head back out of this page. All right, and go back to. So I'm gonna talk really quickly about why I love Kahoot. So it is really, really great because it takes that pressure and that stressful environment factor away, and it creates a really, really fun learning environment. Students get very excited when there's a game involved, and it just makes the learning environment so engaging and so fun. It also helps a lot of students who are international students who have a hard time participating vocally in class. And they may understand what they're reading, but sometimes they have a hard time speaking it out. But this gives them a chance to test themselves and still be able to keep up. Now, in terms of education, I really feel like this is a great way for your students to use Kahoot as a self-checking tool. They can use this to see, oh, look where they need to do a little more review, and they can kind of gauge themselves and their own progress through the course they are taking. As an educator, it is a great tool as well because it also gives me a chance to reflect on my teaching and what I feel like may have been taught well and clearly may not be the case from my students' perspective. So this is a great chance for me to see what I need to put more work in or what I need to further review with my class. All of my students, or most of them, are getting one subject wrong, then that would allow me to think and maybe have another class review that subject again. And it just encourages students to learn because I love to use this as a self-review tool. I have students go into groups, make their own Kahoot games, and then they play each other's games. And it's a great way just to like have the students get to know each other. It promotes team building. It really encourages them to work together. And especially in the beginning when they're just getting to know each other. When you make them create a game together, it helps them get to know each other and their personalities, and it gets them used to asking each other for help, which will be an amazing tool for them to have as they move through the program. And this is a great tool for promoting student engagement because it's just a fun game. It's so much fun. I have students play all sorts of types of review games, and I think that most students review information the best when they are having a lot of fun. And I found that students do retain a lot of the questions from a Kahoot game or a Jeopardy game really, really well later on down the road when they are taking a test or an assessment. And it just allows the students to participate in real time. You know, it's fun, especially if they're working in teams. They get to really discuss with each other what they think the correct answer would be, and they get to learn from each other and find a solution together. It really promotes great team building. And lastly, to evaluate learning, it's from the student's perspective. So we have to look at this from two perspectives. From the student's perspective, it's a very fun quiz. You know, they get to see their scores if you do the timed version, and then they can see, okay, well, this is where I need to review because I did not do very well, or I am a little bit slow. I didn't get so many answers right, and maybe I should study more on this topic. From the instructor's perspective, you get to see how your whole class is moving through and learning as a whole. Like I said earlier, if you have a handful of questions where most of your students are getting that question wrong, well, maybe we should spend more time. I should go back in my class and spend a little bit more time, find different ways to teach that subject one more time. Maybe I didn't deliver that course content in the best way, and it just helps me self-reflect as well. And that is basically everything that I prepared today for this Kahoot presentation. This is just a very basic introduction to Kahoot, but there are many, many other resources as well that you can use to further present information in your classroom. And I hope you learned a little bit today. Thank you for listening, and see you next time. Thank you.